Greetings, welcome. Oops, microphone's a little bit quiet. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome to the stream. Let me just get all this stuff set up. I'm a little bit nervous about tonight. Hello, I'm a little bit nervous about tonight's stream. I won't lie. I've only sort of the thing we're going to be playing around with today. I've only had it for about a day or so, and I still don't quite know what I'm doing with it yet. And so this is either going to go really well or it's going to go real bad. But I'm excited. I am excited. Like, I think it's... I've been after sort of something like this for a very long time. And now I finally have it. I'm very excited to make some very, very strange noises with it. So let's just jump right in. So this is my new thing. This is my new synthesizer. Basically... I had a big project at the start of this year, and I decided I was like, I think it's time I get another piece of equipment, another sort of big purchase. And I was kind of looking at options. I was looking at a couple of sort of more something a bit more like the Moog, things like that, with keyboard, lots of buttons, lots of things to plug other things into, and there were a few really, really good options that I was really interested in doing. But the more I was kind of researching, the more I was like, well, I have, anything that these synths can do, I can more or less do all of it on the grandmother. So I was kind of struggling to think about what I was going to get. And then this appeared in my life by accident. And I sort of watched a few videos, read a few reviews, and I kind of fell in love with it a little bit. And I kind of thought, this is the kind of thing I'm after. This is the kind of thing I was wanting to get into. Because the other option was getting into modular, and I don't have that kind of cash. I think I really like modular synthesis, but I think you need to go in with an idea of what you're wanting to make with it. And I don't really have that. At the moment, I'm looking for textures. And this is all texture. So this is the Lyra 8 organismic, stop laughing, synthesizer. I'm going to try and explain how it works. I don't completely understand how it works. I've been sort of playing around with it for a couple of days and watching a few tutorials and things. But to give you a very basic overview, you have 8 different wave channels here. And they're all manually tuned, so there's no keyboard or anything. You have to manually tune it yourself, so I've got it plugged into my Gigcaster 5 mixer over here, which has a guitar tuner built in, which is very handy. I'm just gonna make sure it's not picking up the mic and it's just picking up the instruments, which is good. And the way it works is you have 8, and then that goes into a set of 4, set of 2, and then a set of 4, and then you can sort of feed them back in on themselves and stuff. And then there's an LFO, there's a delay, and then there's a distortion. And I'm not going to kind of do a big tutorial like this is how it all works, because frankly, I don't know. I'm still figuring out how to make stuff with it. And that's kind of what tonight's stream is I'm just going to kind of be messing around with it, messing around with the Lyra 8. I'm currently calling it the Nightmare Machine. I think it'll become very clear very quickly why I'm calling it that. To come up with some sounds, come up with some recordings, and see if there's anything interesting that we can do with it. So I think I had this tuned to like a C chord earlier on. Let's see if I can get that playing. There you go. So it just does drones, right? So it's... So you have sort of 4 lower bassy kind of notes down here, and up here you have higher ones. let's. So this is the kind of first quirk of this thing, right? Is that you need to manually tune these. And they're already making weird noises. So they're triggered by these these connector pads here. So they're sort of metal, these little metal connectors. So I'm going to turn these down so you can't hear it. So when you put your finger on them, they complete the circuit, right? The voltage, the natural sort of voltage in your finger, kind of. So it's why I have these coins here. I've got a Longcat Media Madame Magenta decision-making coin. So you can pop that on there. If you're just wanting one thing to play constantly so you can tune it. Let's put the tuner on so we can figure it out. That's a G, that's not too bad. Just get that up a little higher. It's very, 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 like you can, if you look at the sort of light on the side. That's good, that's a C. Okay, yeah, that should work. That should work. Let's turn that up. These big, lovely drones. It's lovely ambient drone sounds. Okay. So you're getting, you get the idea that this is it's about creating ambient textures. You're hearing these things all sort of blend together. So the really interesting thing that it does artifact. Turn that back down again. So it does this interesting thing where I'm going to try and explain these switches, and I'm probably not going to be able to explain it properly, but I'm going to try. You have these two switches here where they've got numbers on them. So these correspond to the pads down here, right? And what it does is, so over here we have a switch here that says 3, 4. So we've got these two. Oh, sorry, let me turn all the weird stuff off. So that's 2. I'll tell you what, I'll put the just get these 2 waves. If I flick this switch to 3 and 4, if I play these 2 pads here, basically these 2 waves will start modulating these 2 waves. So they won't blend together, they'll start interfering with each other. Start making very strange noises. Start interfering, and then also if I flick this switch, then it goes both ways now. So it means that these 2 are interfering with these 2, and these 2 are also interfering with these 2. So if I stick this hold up, which controls all 4 of them. Start making some interesting noises. But also you can make it feed back on itself, which is really cool. No, they're just not making any noise, that's not good. Ah, that'll be why. And if you add the delay in as well. Like I said, still figuring out how to use it, still figuring out the things that it can do. But it has other things, so there's a distortion on it as well. LaRue, hello. I'm trying really hard to understand, but honestly, I still think you're a wizard just making funky wizard sounds. Thank you. But I mean, I don't entirely understand what I'm doing either. I'm just kind of... like, I don't know why it's making that sound. Ooh. No, no, stop now, please. Thank you. There we go. So I was watching a video review of this from a YouTuber called Heinbach, and they sort of described this synth as it takes you to some dark places, and it wants to go there to serenade the hellhounds, which I thought is a very good description of this thing. Like it Okay, let's turn all this stuff off and let's see if we can get some nice tones out of this. Let's turn all the mods down, all the sharps down. Let's see if we can get like a big sort of eight note chord on the go. So let's see what this note's trying to tell us. It's a B. So we'll get up to somewhere around a C. Okay. Just flicked it slightly as I was going. Doesn't ever want like up to a G. Like it's very precise in terms of its notes. But we want to get like an approximation, so then we can adjust it on the go later on. So I'm going to sharp this. It's quite bassy. Might just get that up to another. Just trying to make sure they're not phasing. Stick them in together. Give a sort of slight chorus effect because they're slightly out of phase with each other. Ugh. Stick a coin on there as well. See, it's because they're not quite in tune, you get these weird little phasing effects. Like the slower it is, the closer you are to the note. So it's close enough. It's close enough. So that's I think that's probably our G. Ooh, okay, okay. See what happens if we play all these together. Ah, okay. I can work with that. Add a little delay to that. Good. That's a nice little drone underneath everything. I can work with this. This I can work with. Let's turn the sharpness down a little bit. It's more ambient. There we go. That's good. A little bit of vibrato in there just to... Just realised I had the overdrive turned on, so that's why it sounded a bit off. Okay. Okay. Now what happens if we put this up? Okay, I don't hate this. This is nice. So here's the thing. Now we've got a nice, pleasant organ chord on the go. It's going to take the harshness out of it a little bit. So there we go. Take the vibrato out of it. Get a lovely, nice chord there. Like, what I love about this switch in particular is that when you flick it, there's a little glitch every time. It takes a bit of time to adjust. Okay, so we have 8 tracks. We've got a little bit of delay on the go. If I turn that off, it's going to get a bit louder. So, if I'm just going to turn it down while I'm talking. So the thing here says total FB, that's total feedback. So if I flick that up, and then I flick these switches down, where it says LFO FBCV, because this switch is triggered, it means that these will start feeding back on themselves. I have no idea what that's going to sound like, but I'm really curious to find out. I'm going to start from the top and work our way down. So this is the top 2 tracks. Okay, nothing too scary. So it only seems to affect these 2 tracks here. Doesn't seem to do anything here. If we bring the delay back in, it's got that lovely analog effect where it can feed back on itself. Which is a good sound in certain circumstances. But there's a switch here. If I flick this, the delay is going to start feeding back on itself. Just adds an extra little... bit of magic. This little cycle you can kind of hear. Okay, I'm going to turn this down. Just have these for droning. So what's happening here is that this little button here is affecting the delay and it's causing these little glitches, which sound really nice. It's kind of it's making some sounds that I don't think you'd find, and there's a randomness to it that I really like. And again, it has that delightful thing that I love about synths like this, is that there's no presets and you can't save anything. Good evening. How are things with the definitely not Orgasmatron? It's good. We've managed to get it to a point where it's kind of in tune with itself. So turn that off. So we've got a nice chord here. If I turn this up, you get the high notes, which also sound quite nice. Just playing around with playing around with the delay and the fact that that's causing this to feed back on itself and all the other waves and things. It's such a bizarre sounding thing. I love it very much. I don't like the vibrato at the moment. I think it's so. Here's the thing: we can make this little light here, which is generating an LFO. We can make that affect what these are doing. Flick this down, see what happens. I like the look today. Very plaid Canadian lesbian lumberjack vibes. Thank you. So my partner is sick today, and I think I'm also getting sick. And so for most of today, I've been in like slacks, big jumper and leggings. So I thought I'd try and make an effort for the stream. By which I mean put a top on and shower and put a shirt on. Okay. So what's happening? This is affecting the delay, and it's also affecting these 4 notes down here. Let's see what we can do. Why is that doing that? That's what we want. There you go. So I flick all these. So let's put this back up again. Ah, there we go. That's a much nicer chord. Oh, there we go. So basically I'm getting these 2 tracks to kind of modulate each other. Get some really delightful noises. So if I get... my experiences with it so far has been realizing that a switch, like flicking a particular switch, gets the sound to change in a dramatic way, and just playing around with that. So right now, if I do this, it creates a sort of nice FM effect. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but I know I'm having a great time. Good, I'm glad. That's kind of where I'm at as well. Like, I'm just kind of flicking switches and seeing what's happening. I'll turn everything off. Okay, we managed to get back to the nice sounding chord. That's good, that's progress. I got lost very early on, but I'm definitely enjoying the ride. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, I don't necessarily think this is something I'm going to do on stream a lot. Like, I don't think this is something that I think lends itself particularly to streaming, just because it's drony ambient music and like. As much as I like to think that I have a very sophisticated audience, and I do think I do have a very sophisticated audience, and a very handsome and beautiful, sexy audience as well, I do think that it's maybe a little bit too esoteric. Like, I do enjoy, I enjoy this. I enjoy playing around with it. But I don't think this is going to become a regular feature, is playing around with stuff like this. I think if I'm going to be doing if I'm ever using it for a music project, and I do want to use this for a music project, I would love to have a kind of play around with this. I have found a way to bring it, I have found a way to incorporate it into my regular setup. So I haven't properly found a space for it on my desk yet, as you can probably tell, but I have figured a way to fit it into my everyday setup in a really interesting and cool way. I think I was speaking to Ella about Camlin and things, and I was talking about this amazing, beautiful noise generating machine that. It just looks like something you'd find in the corner of the radiophonic workshop, right? Like, it just looks like something they'd use, and so I just I absolutely love I really love synthesizers that don't have keyboards. It's a very particular thing. It's a very particular me thing. Is that I love it when a synthesizer doesn't have a keyboard. And you have to kind of figure out how it makes noise in its own particular way. Like the reason I was drawn to this is I've been looking at this very old synth called a synthy, and it was a suitcase. It's like an old one from the 70s, and the way you would change settings on it you had these little pins, basically like a battleship's board, and you have to plug them in to kind of link things together rather than using cables, which is what kind of synthesizers use now, what modular synthesizers use now. I thought that was really cool, and there was, again, no keyboard attached to it. You had to sort of just kind of figure out the notes and tones for it. So it was much more about generating sound effects than generating melodies and things. And it was very famously used on Run Like Hell on Dark Side of the Moon, with that sort of very bouncy, sort of slippery synth line that plays in that song. So yeah, I wanted something a bit more experimental, because the thing is, there was a YouTuber called Ben Jordan who talked about this recently. Synthesize, you don't need hardware synthesizers, right? Anything these can do, I can get a plugin that can do them, right? Like there's a plugin that recreates the Moog Grandmother. There's a plugin that can more or less do everything the Minilog does. I dare say there are things that can do this as well. So it's and somebody on Twitter described synth collecting as like the model train collecting of the millennial age, and they're not entirely wrong. But I think because I don't buy, you'll be surprised to hear this, because I don't buy synthesizers very often. When I am looking for one, I'm looking for something that sounds unique, has a unique sound and texture, and can surprise me. And this does that, like this. I don't feel like I'm in control of this synthesizer at all. I very much feel like it's gonna express itself, and I just have to sort of guide it as best I can and see whether I get anything out of that. I would love to soundtrack something with this. Like there's a film project that I'm involved with that hasn't quite got to the sound design stage yet, but I do want to see if I can make the whole score just using this. And I think there's a lot of sound design possibilities. Hi Ollie, yes I did buy it. I bought it. It's beautiful. I love it very much. I've just been playing around with it. It's some lovely sounds. It's beautiful noises. And then that can all be taken away if I just goes into nightmare mode so quickly. Just delightful. But like I think there are I'm so happy with it. I'm so pleased. Like I think there's a lot you can do with this. I think you could do a lot of sound design stuff. Like because it's an analog delay, you can do things like this. Just make it feed back on itself. Get that to feed back on itself. And then if you've got... Come on. So in that case, the delay is feeding back on itself and creating this sort of slightly terrifying bassy sound. Oh, where's the bassy gone? The bass notes have just had enough of it. Oh no. There it is. It's coming back. I don't know how it's doing that. I don't know what's causing that. It's just, you've got this rising bass and then it disappears again. I think that's just the feedback, right? It's kind of the cycling. Ooh. Yeah, and then because it's feedbacking on itself. Get all the Doctor Who noises you want. Rose is called the Phangasmatron. So I just turn all these down and turn this back. Okay, so in terms of what it can do for sound design, if I just throw a coin on here. So that's just triggering this one track here, right? So turn the LFO on. So that's being controlled by this. You'll notice that the light corresponds to the sound. Then I can turn the distortion on, which I've not really played around with yet. So even if you've just got one oscillator going, like here, like messing around with the sort of effects up here and the LFO and using that on itself. Like what I find really interesting is when you've got the LFO, which is over here, this little light here, controlling the delay, the modulation of the delay, it kind of creates a different it kind of creates a new instrument, a new sound, a new voice. It sort of works a bit like a granulizer, like a very basic granulizer. So just turn that down. Creates that interesting little bouncy effect. And also, just to reiterate, like I've not got any effects on this right now. This is all just straight coming out of the synthesizer, straight coming out of the box, which is really interesting. So another thing that I realized about this that I think is really exciting is that it has an external in. So you can plug an instrument in and then run it through the effects rack up here, right? So you can run it through the delay, you can run it through the mix. And one of the synthesizers I was looking at was a Korg MS-20, which is kind of known for having a very, very cool distortion effect built into its sound. But I realized if I plug the Moog into this, I can use the distortion on here to distort that. So if I oh, Jesus, sorry. Clearly I was messing around with it. What have I done? There we go, that's what it is. So that's just the grandmother on its own. I noticed that we had a bump in viewers when I started bringing out the Moog, so that's interesting. So I can run that now through the distortion on this. Probably better to run that down. Nice nasty distortion on there. And then, obviously, you can add the delay onto that as well. Because the thing is, right, the way it works is that it goes through the delay and then it goes through the distortion. So you're also distorting all the delays coming off the raw signal. So yeah, nasty bass sounds, which is fun. Now if I turn it up. Really chunky. Because then, you know, then you can start playing around with all the other effects on here as well. So if it's just feedbacking on itself. So, ooh. But then, you know, on top of that, you can also do the effect that we were doing earlier on with the LFO, right? To create new voices. I'm going to turn the... But then we can do more. We can do more. So let's get a couple of cables and play around. So I'm not going to do a super technical explanation of what I'm doing because it's frankly not that interesting. But there is a signal generator on the Moog that generates a random voltage. It's a random voltage generator. And how that translates is to, if I put it in the pitch thing, put it in the pitch hole, which is also incidentally my stripper name, it generates a random note when I play it. Sorry, I'll turn all the effects off so you can hear it properly. So it works as a random note generator, basically. And then I can adjust that. If you're ever wondering how they generated the noises for R2-D2, this is how they did it. That kind of thing. And then also if I can do the same by putting the LFO's wave output into the pitch of one of the oscillators. Just leave that playing for now. Again, you've got this now generating extra notes. Do I have... Can I run it... Can I run it through anything on here? Can I put a reverb on it, maybe? Ring mod, lo-fi, radio, filter, ring mod, chorus, phaser, slicer, vibrato. Oh, it's just a delay. Okay, cool. Something delightfully eerie about this. Ooh. So I've just added a delay effect on the mixing desk. Bringing this back in. I kind of love this. I'm not going to go ahead and say it's good, but it's interesting. Dark ambient. It does have a bit of a whale song element to it from the Moog. But you also got like that's creating some interesting variations, like a rhythm to it. Bring these high notes up. The delay on this is also adding a lovely little like extra effect to it. It does feel like a creature sort of stirring, doesn't it? So if I'm going to get this the delay to feed back on itself. So we'll lose these like little clicks here, but we'll get like an interesting little phase distortion thing. Oh, hello. Oh, I love it. I'm loving the like little harmonies that are coming in through the. Ooh. Sorry, I'm just quickly setting up a recording because I love this. It's still in mono. Okay, that's good. I don't want to touch anything because I think it sounds amazing. It's just kind of doing its own thing. Maybe it's a bit louder. See, like, I don't know, there's just something otherworldly about this synth. Just the things that it can do. Like, this isn't music I would make. Like, if you're here all the time, you know this. Yeah, like this. Yeah, and like I don't normally use this kind of routing for the grandmother either. Like, I don't normally allow it to make sounds like this. Love the little bits of harmony you get with the drone. Something really lovely about that. Oh, just these lovely notes. Oh, beautiful. Like, I just love this kind of just setting something up and letting it go and seeing what it comes up with. Like, it's why I was kind of slightly tempted to start doing modular stuff. But modular is very expensive. Okay, let's flick this back to the LFO. Bit more of a rhythm now coming from because the delay is running through the LFO and then it's modulating back. It's like a slight bit of distortion as well, which is just really hitting on those high notes. so happy. I love this. Ooh. That was what, 7 minutes of weird and wacky audio. I love that. That's great. I love that. I mean, that's absolutely not all. I suppose that is. I love that. Just having the delay feed back in on itself. Like, that's it without. And if I turn it on. So it creates a sort of chorusy effect. If I add the drive to it as well. If you add the higher notes as well, you get lovely. Turn the distortion off. Ooh, hello. So you can set the delay modulation to be either digital or analog. So this is digital. It's like an on or off. Or you can set it to analog, which is more wiggly. Which somehow sounds a lot scarier. Especially on the lower notes. It's almost like a warp core, right? really bassy and get like a warp chorus. Or you can do this, which just sounds just nightmares. So you can't really play precise melodies on it. You're sort of bouncing around notes all the time. Not bringing that in. Like, sorry, I'm aware I'm not doing a lot of talking, but it's just like there's something about this, right? There's something about these noises that it's making that, like, I start playing around with something and it does suck you in and kind of makes you want to play it more. Just quite it's unnerving, but and I can't explain why. Like I'm very aware this is probably one of those synthesizers where it's probably more fun to play with than it is to actually listen to. But there's, I don't know, there's something about this synthesizer, just the noises that it makes. Something about it that's very meditative. Is that the right word for it? Like, it feels very much like, it feels less like I'm telling the synth to do things and more like I'm kind of going with it as it figures, as it goes on its own little journey. And that's really interesting to me. That's really interesting that it kind of wants to go places. Psychopomp. Ah, okay, yeah. Okay. So I think the sync switch here, it syncs these two LFOs up, so it means that they're hitting at the same time. As if we turn them off, the timings aren't. So I'm curious about what this does. Yeah. Very strange. Taking the synth on a spiritual journey. A little bit. Like I said, that one of the videos I was watching about this, it was by a wonderful YouTuber called Heimbach. Kind of talks about how this synth is sort of broken by design, and how it sort of feels like it has a soul almost, in that it sort of defies you trying to control it. I mean, like, just the fact that, like, you can't, these aren't notched. It's just changing the frequency. Like, there's no internal tuning mechanism or anything like that. Like, these aren't tuned to each other at all. That's them almost tuned to each other. Like, I've put the tuner on. Let's turn this off. You know, I can try tuning it to a note, but like... Okay, there we go. I think that's about... Just like the tiniest movement knocks it out, right? Okay, so that's tuned now. put this on an F so you get a nice. It's just the tiniest. Right, so then if I play these together. See, like, that's about as in tune as that's gonna get, you know? Stop. There we go. Thank you. Emergent complexity like consciousness. Yeah. I mean, it's like the thing is, in terms of what this thing actually does on the grand scheme of things, it's actually really simple. Like there's no MIDI out. There's no like MIDI in, so I can't control it externally. Like there's an external in to like control it with. To control some of the effect parameters, and like I said, I've got the grandmother going in, but that's just going through the effects rack. That doesn't affect any of the actual waveforms being generated. You know. Like I can run distortion on that. And some of the delay. But like it doesn't affect any of these at all, so it's just a wave generator. But what the clever thing that it does is that they're all linked together at all times. So it's not okay. So you know, as much as I can be like, right, I want this one to play this note. These two knobs control these two channels, so they come as a pair, and then these two control these two sets of 4. So it means that like all times one channel is being affected by another channel. So it means it's constantly this singular sound. It's not like the grandmother where I've got two oscillators. You know, and I can change the octave of each one. So that's oscillator 2 off, and that's oscillator 1 off. You know, it's not like that. They're not separate. It's all you've got these 8 tracks all together, and they're going to interact with each other in ways that you can't account for. And they don't even stay in tune for very long, and you need to change the notes for. So it's one of these things where in terms of what it actually does, it's actually really simple. But the way it manifests itself, the way it actually generates sound, like I said, emergent complexity. It's the things that it does are interesting. You know, you can make something without using the delay, right? Just using the feedback. Use that for sound design. Some terrifying monster sounds. That is scary though. That's crunchy. The hell is that? That's in like an actual monster sound. I'm going to record that for Camlin. crunchy. It's very I think we're safe. What was that? It is very Doctor Who. It's a very sort of radiophonic workshop, right? Okay, like, it shouldn't be making a noise. Like, the feedback is turned all the way down. So it shouldn't be doing any delay, but it's still going. Is it the LFO? Still some... Synth's haunted. I think you might be right there. Because none of the waves are going. It's not the LFO either, because I've just turned it off. Okay then. I think cool. It is I think it might be a haunted synth. Good grief. Yeah, like it's what are the coins for? Right, yes. Sorry, I should have explained that. So the way you can generate notes in a couple of different ways using this, right? So one way is to use these two holds, which kind of set off each. So this hold controls these four, and this hold controls these four, right? So you've got this. So I turn that up. So I'll turn that up. That's currently playing these four tracks here. And then if I turn this one up, that's playing these 4 here. But if you only want to play one track at a time, you have these connector pads here. So they're they're voltage pads, right? So basically when I'm putting my finger down, completing the circuit, generating a sound. So like, that's just on my finger. If I lick my finger, just slightly more, that tastes very metallic. But the thing is, I can do, if I press down on one and then press on another one, it plays the sound because I'm completing the circuit. If I had to go the other way around. So if you press the bottom of one, that's the one you're playing, and then just you can press the top. Oh, sorry, it's the top one. I beg your pardon. So press the top on 7. It's playing that one. But if you're wanting to kind of have a bit more control over individual, so say you only wanted to play 2 of the tracks at the same time, or 2 of the oscillators at the same time, you could get a coin or a couple of coins in this case, and then use those to complete the circuit. So yeah. Or you can try and balance the coin between 2. And then you've just got these 2 oscillators playing now. Yeah. So that's what the coins are for. They just allow you a bit of extra control over. Just gives you a bit more flexibility with what you can play. So rather than be just having the 4 play at once. Rather than kind of having to tune 4 oscillators manually. You know. Rather than having to do that, you can just stick a couple of coins down. And then there we go, look at that! Managed to tune it to something nice in the end. Okay, I think I'm going to call it there for tonight, just because it's been a long day and I think I'm getting sick, so I kind of want to just go and lie down on my face for a bit and try and get better. thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for indulging me in playing around with this new little nightmare box. Um, I just like I don't necessarily think it'll be appearing again on stream anytime soon, but like if we do another like Anamnesis or another project where we're making an audio drama, live on stream, I dare say I'll probably break it out. Like I said, I've already got this kind of plug. I've got the grandmother plugged into this, and then the grandmother's going into my interface. So I kind of want this to be a regular part of my setup. I just need to figure out what that looks like because I have a small desk. I have a very small desk, comparatively, and I don't have a lot of room because there's just a lot of stuff on it, so I need to figure that out. But yeah, I want to start using this a lot for things because I'm already like if you hadn't figured it out yet, I absolutely love this thing and I want to use it on everything. I just need to figure out what that looks like. But yeah, thank you for kind of when I get new equipment, it takes a lot for me to just sit down and spend some time getting to know it. So I really appreciate having the opportunity with tonight to actually put aside some time and sit down and actually spend some time getting to grips with this synthesizer, this organismic synthesizer. Stop laughing. But yeah, so next week we have episode 3 of Camlin coming out. So episode 3 is coming out on Monday. Once again, we'll be doing a listen along stream here from 8 o'clock UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, I'll be joined by some of the cast and crew. We're going to listen to the episode. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I dare say we're going to get sidetracked on something. Who knows? And then next week, I have a piece of audio on the radio, which is really, really cool. And I'm going to be talking about that on the Wednesday stream. I'm going to be taking apart that little piece there and explaining how I made it. It's a piece of work I'm very, very proud of, and I can't wait to share it with people. I can't wait to broadcast it to the nation. But yes, in the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I'm going to go rest up and try not to get sick. And because I want Camlin, I'm editing Camlin. There's so much Camlin editing to do all the time. This is my life now. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday with more Camlin listen along streams. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week until then, and I will see you soon. Good night.